BMW has decided to rejoin the electric car revolution. As you know, I am not a big fan of the i3, but this time around looks like a pretty decent concept that was unveiling at Beijing Auto Show. I was supposed to be there, but unfortunately didn't get visa on time, but that's okay. This is what it looks like. A couple of other unveilings also going on because as they started the week, we're probably going to hear a few more as well, but let's talk about the ones that have happened yesterday and today, and we're going to start right now.
Taking over the world, electrifying the world, electric.
If you're watching me on Patreon Live, welcome. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you're watching me on replay on YouTube, thank you as well. If you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button so you become a part of this community and simply won't miss anything moving forward. All right, let's talk about the BMW iX3. Now, they've already teased the concept that they're gonna come up with a concept. We only saw the grill. Actually, I don't even think that was the same grill, but all right, maybe I'm mistaken. But here's what it's gonna look like. It's just gonna look like an X3 with some modifications. They're keeping the grill. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, you know, why are they keeping the grill? It looks like a gas car and everything, the aerodynamics and everything. But, you know, I've always been saying that boring is good when it comes to electric cars. I want the electric cars to look like a regular car so people don't really freak out too much. They see an X3, now they see iX3, now they just have to buy into the electric car technology. On the back, it looks also very, very similar what any really BMW looks like. And of course, you know, I keep forgetting to mention this. It is not a bad idea for all these manufacturers are going after the compact SUV market, because that's the only way they can compete with Tesla right now, because Tesla Model Y is not due until probably a couple of years from now. So they know they can beat them to the market. By the way, it's going to have a little bit over than 200-mile range. It's going to come out in 2020, which is, you know, by then that range is probably going to be smaller than people expect. But anything over 200 miles, I believe, is acceptable and realistic. So that's good. Now, another weird part is that they've also announced is that they are going to make this car in China. Maybe that's the reason they're unveiling at the Beijing Auto Show. Didn't really unveil it at the Geneva Auto Show. So because they're going to make, now I'm assuming it's also going to come out in China first, and then for the rest of the world, which is again a little bit odd because this is a German automaker. I would assume they would at least release it in Germany first, then Europe, then maybe the rest of the world. But no, they're going to premiere this in China. On the other hand, you know, China has been probably the best environment for the new electric cars to be made, right? And also to see the light of day. The environment there is pretty good. People are buying it. The largest sales are happening for almost all manufacturers in China, including BYD and Bike, the companies that I keep talking about. But if you've never heard of them before, you know, they sell more cars, more electric cars and plug-in hybrid electric cars in the world than any other manufacturer, just exclusively in China. So can't really blame them for that. Either way, as much as I hated the i3 and never counted the i8 as an electric car, this is finally a good start. Again, way too late. By 2020 in China with a 200-mile range, they're probably still going to find some stiff competition. It's also, of course, going to depend on pricing. They can't price this car too high because, you know, its regular gas version is a relatively affordable version in Europe and in the United States. So we'll wait for more specs to come out, and pricing, of course, is going to be important. But BMW, welcome to the family, I guess. All right, before we get to the next story, just wanted to mention that this channel and this video is sponsored by Evanex, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla. The discount code that they've generously gave to our community is in the description of this video. All right, another thing that was unveiled at the Beijing Auto Show is the Nissan Selfie. Not crazy about the name, but it looks like, and it I guess really is an electrified version of the Nissan Sentra with pretty much the technology of the current Nissan Leaf. And I'm not talking about the one that's coming up, I think, next year. They're actually using the technology that they have in it right now. Though I didn't feel like they made it clear, but that's what it feels like. If it's the next year's technology, that's then it's even better. So again, this is a Beijing Auto Show. This car is only going to be produced for China, especially in the beginning. They probably don't want to compete with the Nissan Sentra in the United States because that model is going to be refreshed, and this one is almost looks very similar, if not almost identical to that. And they're just going to go ahead and compete in Chinese market. Again, that's not a bad business decision, but it's too bad for us here in the United States and Europe because we could have used this car. I've been excited about Nissan technology and their new Nissan Leaf. This is what it looks like a little bit more up close. As you can see, everything is pretty much the same. So that's what they've unveiled. And I have to say, there's not that many unveilings there that we're going to benefit from. You know, again, US and China, and Europe. It's mainly for the Chinese market, and really no big breakthroughs. I've also kind of expected more from their, you know, local companies like NIO and Bike and Biadi, but I haven't heard and I haven't seen anything in the news so far that would be newsworthy. I know Byton is there. By the way, Byton's video is going to be released. I think it's going to be released on Thursday, either tonight or on Thursday. But in the next few days, I'm releasing 2 videos per day just because I made extra videos thinking I'm going to be in China and I have to release something to you guys every day. Well, not have to, want to really. Yesterday, I released a video about the California adventure that we had with Eli, the friend of the show. Bunch of electric car owners got together in Central California. We drove around. So I have a video with some fun interviews there. And so check it out. It's on my channel right now in the vlog section. And the one that I'm going to release today is actually a conversation about investing in green energy, how you can save money and make money with green energy nowadays. And tomorrow is going to be Byton, my interview, my full report for my visit to Milan at their European unveiling last week. By the way, let me remind you that I have some exciting guests coming up. Zach and Jesse. Their interview is going to air on Saturday. We had almost an hour and a half worth of debate and conversation, so that should be fun for you guys. If for those of you guys who are my Patreons, you guys actually get to see it now, as you got to see me pre-tape it live. So check it out right now. Thank you for supporting the show, and so I'm looking forward to hanging out with them. This is the picture of our when we actually met in person at the Tesla semi-truck unveiling event last fall, and then John LaFleur, VP of VP of product, I think he is at Workhorse, and then Henrik Fisker is going to be here on May 12th, and of course the Patreons will be able to witness all of it live, so please join if you care. All right, so let's move on to another one that was unveiled at the Beijing Auto Show. The Honda unveiled its, you know, electric vehicle, which is exciting because they've been pretty much behind on everything almost. But they've unveiled it under their Everest brand, and they're only going to make this car for Chinese market. I don't know if they're trying to just to test it, if they see a better return on their investment with this car just being in China. I'm assuming a little bit of both. It's good to see them, you know, again, good looking SUV, nothing crazy, you know, no more compliance looking cars. Definitely excited about that. As you can see, the grill is there still. These guys just can't stop. So but yeah, it's kind of a news, but it's kind of not news. So maybe if it goes well, Honda will make something by 2025. But again, I don't sound too excited about any of this, except for maybe BMWs, because you know they're mainly for Chinese market, and I feel like these the manufacturers are a little bit behind, and they're kind of making it even more frustrating, I guess, by just unveiling it with not exciting specs just for one market and only now. But nevertheless, that's what we got going on at the Beijing Auto Show. I expect a few other news, but let's move on to our comment of the day, and we got actually a couple. There's really good comments this time around today and yesterday, so just wanted to address a couple of them. First one comes about you know what I've mentioned yesterday by Kanye West. endorsing Tesla and making it sound like he's the first one to discover it, that he is living in the future. Indeed, he is actually 6 years late. I kind of called him on that. I actually found this to be a funny story, but also in the comment section, I asked if you guys thought that this endorsement actually mattered. And Tadeusz Walker is one of many people who replied and said Kanye West's endorsement of Tesla matters. In a world where I have never seen a Tesla in person, Kanye's discovery could still be considered a discovery. And I agree with him. I gave hard times to Kanye because I just find him, I just don't like him like a lot of, I think, you guys, as I found out from the comment section. But yes, and I agree. Any endorsement by a celebrity is good. He has a humongous following. For some reason. I'm not one of them. Probably some of you are not either. But, if he is exposing this car and this movement and this concept to people who maybe never thought about this, or maybe were against it, or never, heard of it, that is definitely good. And because he has such a huge following, if we got an extra 1 million people now maybe shopping and putting reservations for different electric cars, then it's definitely good. I just hate it comes this type of way, but nevertheless. But yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to make it sound like this is a joke. I think he is a joke, and this tweet is a joke. But I think the fact that he has endorsed it, and that that celebrity with a big following doing it, I definitely think it's a good thing. Let me move on to the next comment of the day, which I really was. When I read this comment, I was kind of like, I sat back and I was like, I can't believe I never thought of this and never really read anything like this. So let's read this one together. And this one is about the autopilot and autonomous cars. It's from Harold, and he says, I never heard that autonomous cars use microphones as additional sensors. It seems for me a cheap requirement to react properly to sirens of police, fire brigades, ambulances. What do you think? Harold, I think this is genius. I mean, maybe I'm much like Kanye West, I'm a little behind on this, but I've never heard anybody even propose this or definitely use this. But you're right. We as humans, I mean, if we're trying to simulate autonomous driving after us humans, except for with better skills, then we definitely have to consider sound, right? Because we do use our ears to, do almost everything, and including driving, right? If we don't maybe necessarily see something, we hear it. Sirens is actually a good example, but also, sometimes if there's an accident right next to you, you hear it, right? Before you sometimes see it. Also, you can hear people or maybe bicycles or motorcycles before you see them. So I mean, again, when I read it, I was a little bit taken back, because what a simple, genius idea. We're all talking about lidars and sensors and HD cameras and all of that complicated technology, which of course we should have, and we can go back and forth about lidars specifically, but this is something, and you're right, it's cheap. Microphones don't really cost much at all, yeah, I really hope that somebody listens to you and actually implements it. I might actually ask. So I got Henry Fisker coming on, right? I should probably ask him about this and see what his vision on that is, because this is not a bad idea. So yeah, man, I thank you so much for the comment. I'm sure I'm going to use this in the future as we talk about the autonomous driving. So absolutely, thank you so much for the comment. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. All of the news. I'm sure there will be more from Beijing Auto Show and some others. I'm looking forward to that. But for now, I will see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.